Good evening. Good evening. Happy redefining Monday. Good evening. Good evening. Let me see who's up and moving about on this awesome redefining Monday. Good evening. I hope everyone is well on this lovely Monday evening. I know that I am on here late this evening. However, I made a commitment that I was going to get on here this evening, come hell or high waters. I said, you know what? I am getting on here this evening no matter what. Because last week I said, you know what, I'll just do it when I get back into the office. And then I would get into the office and I would start working. And so I did not do it. And so I made the commitment that, you know what, this evening I'm going to do it. So I disciplined myself and I am in here. And so how is everyone doing on this lovely redefining Monday? I cannot see everyone that is in here. Let me see. How are you doing? It's Shay. How are you doing? Andra. I hope I said that name correctly. As you can probably tell by my eyes, I am a tired brother. When I tell you I'm a tired brother, I'm a tired brother, but I cannot complain. God is certainly faithful. But I had to get on here. I had to get on here tonight. It's been a while. I know it's been busy. We are about to vastly approach 2020. Is everybody ready for 2020? I can tell you all how sick I am of seeing, of seeing these posts that are coming up. How are you doing, Shay? When I tell you I can't tell you all how sick I am of seeing these posts of half of these Negroes getting on here lying about what they're going to walk out of, what they're going to get free from, what they're going to accomplish, what they're going to do, what they're going to overcome. I cannot tell you how sick I am of seeing some of these things. It's just ridiculous. Hello, David. How are you doing this evening? Hello, Diane. How are you doing this evening? I had to get on here this evening again. I said I was going to get on, and I probably will get on again tomorrow. Hello, Frost. How are you doing? But I had to get on this evening. I was in sessions a majority of the day, and then even came home this evening to get some work done. You know, throughout the holiday, when you have short weeks, you know, you try to squeeze as much as you can in, and so you know your days are long and your evenings are even longer. And so you know both of my girls are going at the moment. Hello, Carlos. How are you? So both of my girls are going at the moment. My oldest, she comes back home this evening, and boy is she ready. And so I was, you know, trying to get as much work done, you know, as I'm home alone and quiet. So I came home this evening, started working again. But when I tell you I was in sessions, I am doing excellent. Thank you, Frost. And so just seeing all across social media, everything everybody's going to get free from, how people are going to walk out of some things, how people are going to cut some folks off, even in sessions. I'm in sessions, I am just hearing literally how people going to get free, how people going to cut some folks off, how people going to walk and just walk through some folks and release some folks. And I tell you, it had to be about 3 or 4 people today. And I think I might have pissed some of them off, but I really did not care because I'm not one of those people that you just want to jump up on because my reflexes are too good. Yeah, our mama taught us that. My reflexes are too good. You just don't want, I'm not one of those therapists you just want to jump up on. And so I told them, you're lying. And let me tell you why you're lying. Because if you have to, Frost, you know me, Frost. You know I'm crazy. If you have to keep repeating what you're going to do, it's because it's a delusion in your mind. It is not a reality. Because simply put, for example, if you are at at a crossroads and you are ready to cross the street, you do not, hello Malik, how are you doing, sir? Good evening, how are you? If you are at a crossroads and you are about to cross the street and we're standing beside each other, you do not have to tell me 20 times that, okay, Jesse, I'm about to cross the street. Jesse, I'm about to cross the street. Jesse, I'm about to cross the street. When you see that it is your turn to cross the street, you're simply going to cross the street because you made up your mind that it's my turn. It's my turn to cross the street. Hello, Dominique. How are you doing, sister? I love you. Hello, Dante. How are you doing? When you see that it's your turn to cross the street, you're simply going to cross the street because you've realized, you know what? I've been standing on this corner long enough. I'm just going to cross the street. I told one of my clients, hello, Mom Price. How are you? And to one of my clients, I said, she's not spiritual, and that's okay. Okay, a lot of my clients are not spiritual. Dante, you always starting something. I told one of my clients, a lot of my clients are not spiritual, and that's okay. I told one of my clients, I said, the Bible says in the book of Deuteronomy that you have circled this mountain long enough. Now turn north. When you really get sick of something or sick of someone, you'll just make up in your mind that I don't need to wait to the end of the year to make a resolution that I'm ready for change. I don't need to do that. And so I don't make resolutions. Me personally, I don't make resolutions because throughout the year, I'm making revolutions. I'm already making, and she looked at me and she told me, she said, Dr. Jesse, this is why I come to you, because you pissed me off enough to just make me want to change. And she brings a notebook with her. Every time she comes to the session, she brings this thick notebook. And I said, you are always bringing this notebook with you. She said, A, because I take notes in our sessions, and B, when I'm going home, when I get home, my mind is going because you have my wheels turning. Hello, Sharmika. How are you doing? Good evening. Hello, Make Moves. How are you? Hello, Carl. How are you doing, sir? And she said, because you have my wheels turning. I told her, I personally don't make resolutions. And 85.5% of the Negroes, hello, Rod, how are you doing this evening, that make resolutions, whether they go to church or not, they lying. They're not making the resolutions. Gym membership goes up in the beginning of the year, and Negroes is wasting their money because they go January and they may give, the gym half their time in February, but after that, the gym may get none of their time. They make a commitment they're going to leave someone alone, and they may leave them alone in January because, they real strong and they real determined. But when you are making a resolution, all because a year is changing, time is changing, not your mind, but time is changing. It will be a temporary fix. It is not something that will have longevity. It is not something that will have substance to it. Why? Hello, Mike. How are you? Why? Because you're simply making the adjustment because of tradition. It's a resolution. So because time is changing, I need to make a change. No. Why not make a change because my mind needs to change, because my life needs to change, not because time needs to change. Because time is changing, I need to make a change. No, my mind needs to change so my life can make a change. And so if I'm making a change simply because tradition and time is changing, it will have no substance to it. There will be no longevity to it. So you'll go right back to the person, as most people do. You'll quit the gym, as most people do. You'll go back to poor money management. Hello, sis. Hello, Tony. How are you doing? You'll go back to poor money management, as most people do. You'll go back into depression, as most people do. Hello, Mom Angela. How are you doing? Love you. You'll go back into those things, as most people do, because you're making an adjustment simply because it's a resolution and time is changing. I don't need to make an adjustment because time is changing. I need to make an adjustment by changing my mind, not because time is changing. When I make an adjustment because I need to change my mind on some things because I see where my life is going, then that brings longevity. That carries substance. And so I was telling my client today that I always walk in revolution mode. That's just how Jesse's mind works. And I may go down for a moment. Hello, Elise. How are you doing, boo? Now, I'm human. I may go down for a moment, and I may cry for a moment, and I may get pissed off for a moment, and I may vent for a moment, but you better believe I ain't going to be down there long. Because when I get back up and I dust myself off, I'm coming with a better strategic plan. I'm coming up and I'm like, okay, this is where I go from here. This is where I made the mistake. This is who I connected with that I should not have connected with. This is what do you notice the I statements that I'm making here? Not this is what they did. Not this is where they messed up. Not this is where I let them get me up at. This is what I did. This is what I said. This is where I did not discern well, because then that holds me accountable. I've taken ownership. So the mistakes I made by picking the last one, I'm not going to make that same mistake this time. Hello, Kaisha. How are you doing? Love you. And so I was even telling another client, he was talking to me. He was saying, Dr. Jesse, I don't know how you do it, because he's single. I don't know how you do it. You single, but you got children. Fool, what? I have a 19-year-old. She has a life. So they look at me like, Dad, I got things to do. Because, when you have children, hello, Elle, how are you doing, sis? I love you. So he was like, you got children, so that's how you able to be single and be okay. You don't think that I get lonely at times and look around my room and be like, okay, all right. So when he used my children, I said, I can't, fool, this is not that kind of home. What do you think I'm doing with my children? No. My 19-year-old, she has a life. Hell, even Brielle, my 10-year-old, she'd be like, Dad. I'd be like, Brielle, come give me a hug. And she'll give me a hug, and then she'd be like, Dad, I'm trying to play roadblocks or whatever on the computer or on her phone. And then when she's ready to come to me, she'll come to me. Even she has a life. And so I said, just because I have children does not mean that I don't get it. I don't, become alone, but I am not drowning in loneliness. Hello, Derek. How are you doing? Hello, Glenn. How are you? Hello, Levon. How are you? I'm not drowning in loneliness, because what will happen is, and this is the problem that a lot of single people have, is when you drown in loneliness, you make mistakes, and then you get people that you have to raise. And I'm not getting in a relationship with somebody that I can't put on my taxes. I got to raise you. I need to drop you off at the daycare, because that's the problem that a lot of people make. And see, I don't make those problems. I'd rather be single and happy than be with someone that I have to raise. Hell, I didn't need Kate Michelle to tell me I couldn't raise a man. What? Somebody got to tell you you can't raise a man? What? Where's the ushers at? Oh, ain't no ushers here. I ain't at church, at least. Boo, I ain't at church. Somebody should have told me that. All right. Derek, don't start. Say it loud. You needed somebody to tell you couldn't raise a woman? She's not a little girl anymore? What? I didn't need nobody to tell me I can't raise a woman. These are things that when you drown in loneliness and you make decisions again, because time is changing, your mind is not changing, you don't discern well. And when you don't discern well, you drown in ignorant decisions because you're not using wisdom. And this is the reason I even have an issue with over-religious people. Because even over-religious people will walk in resolutions. Hello, Monet, how are you doing? I love you. Over religious people will walk in resolutions and not revolution. Revolution, you should be able to move some things that other people can't move. When you walk in revolution, you shuffling things that other people can't shuffle. I don't need to wait till December 31st come to start to move things. I don't care if it gets hard in March. I may cry on March the 14th. And yes, it still may be hard on March the 21st. But on March the 22nd, I'm going to dust myself off. This is why it's important that we even watch the circle that we keep. And I have people on this live that know me. My circle is tight and it's right. And the reason I have a tight circle is because I don't engage with nobodies. When you connect with future failures and you talking to them about how you're hurt and how you're broken and how you don't know how you're going to get up from this and they can't help walk you through it, and you talking about, what's your advice? And then they give you advice and you hang up with them and you're like, I don't know what she just said. I don't know what he just said. How can a future failure tell someone who's walking in success how they're going to get through it? You need to begin to check your circle, and you don't need December 31st to tell you when to do that. Duh. Look, okay, I'm acting like my sister. Duh. You don't need December 31st to tell you when to do that. You need to walk in revolution. So again, if you're single, do not allow yourself to drown in loneliness. Let me tell you, I will get with my circle in a minute. Dominique, sis, you better tell them. And we will get together in a minute and we will go out and we will do something and we will have a good adult sexy time. My sis L is on here. When I go to Atlanta for work, I will connect with my sis and we will go out and we will do something because I love live music. I love those times. We will go out and we will do something. Who said because you're single, you can't have a good time? Who told you that? Who told you that because you're single, you can't go out and enjoy yourself? And if you are single, nobody's going to want you if you run into Kroger's in SpongeBob pajamas. That is another live. So nevertheless, I digress. And I'm going to move on from that one. All right? Okay. But, all right, Holy Ghost. So I'm just going to say this one thing on that one. And then I really am going to leave it alone. Hello, Terrence. How are you? One thing my mother did tell me. She used to say, Jesse, I don't care where you run to, at least even have a jogging outfit that looks like something that you can throw on. So whoever sees you don't see you looking like a mess. That's something that my mother taught me when I was in middle school. She said, you never know who you're going to bump into. And you running out looking like anything. And I remember I had a sister. Hello, Sharice. How are you doing? She's talking about, I'm looking for a good man. And she used to give me this long list of the kind of man she was looking for. And I'm looking at her running in Kroger, these SpongeBob pajamas. And one time I just finally had to tell her, hello, Joshua, how are you? And one time I had to tell her, you want this six-figure man, but you running in Kroger in SpongeBob pajamas. You need to just get ready to sleep in your bed by yourself or with a stuffed animal. Because your dreams are unrealistic for a partner. You're asking for something that you don't possess. That is unrealistic. That's a delusion. That is a mental illness. See, do y'all see how mental illness is so real? And see, in our minority community, you notice how I said in our minority community? Hello, Katrina. How you doing, friend? Hello, Shatandra. How are you? You notice how I said in our minority community? We used to grow up saying, oh, y'all know that's just Cousin Joe. Y'all, that's just Aunt Sean. That's just who she is. That was a mental illness. And so you cannot be someone running around in SpongeBob pajamas and you talking about you want this six-figure man. That is unrealistic. That is a delusion. That is a mental illness. The enemy is tricking you and using your mind, and you need to go back to the drawing board. All right. So now I'm gonna come back in. All right, Derek, we're gonna come on back in from that one. So the ushers told me to come on back in. Come on back in from that one. So you don't need to wait until New Year's Eve to gain a strategic plan. And so when I was talking to one of my clients today, I was telling her, every year I have my year mapped out in quarters. I have my year mapped out in quarters. And so I know in quarters what I desire to achieve. And now if I gain some type of blessing, extra blessing, which I desire to do. Hello, Marquel, how are you, sir? Which I expect God to do. Because when you walk in authority, and you have a relationship with God. Hello, Lamont. How are you, sir? When you have a relationship with God, notice, because you all know I talk about the difference between religion and kingdom. See, religion will take you out every time. Hello, Bishop Troy. How are you? Will take you out every time. Religion will dismiss you and take you out every time. The enemy does not care about you knowing religion, because there's a lot of people who look religious, but they have no power. See, that's why Paul told his spiritual son Timothy, there's a lot that have the form of godliness, but they deny the power. See, there's a lot of people that go to church and the enemy cares nothing about them looking like they have God, because the enemy knows what you have on the inside by the test that comes our way. How can we stand in the midst of adversity? Okay, let me leave that alone. But the word of God declares, that the prayer of the righteous availeth much. There's a realm that we can get to. There's a dimension that we can get to. And I'm going to leave this alone because there's a webinar that I'll be doing because I'm tired of weak saints, and I'm ready to piss some religious folks off. Y'all know that's something I'm good at. So there's a webinar I'll be doing because there's a dimension that we can get to in our prayer life and just in our life, period, where the enemy can't touch us in some regards. And so we got to get to that place to where we're not scared that when we declare something that the enemy is going to come and snatch it from us. That when I say God is going to open up a window of heaven, or that I'm going to walk in favor, that when I say it on Tuesday, on Wednesday, I'm looking behind my back because I'm nervous. No, where they do that at? No, I was destined to be great. If you know that you were destined to form a business, an organization, a ministry, if you were called to broken women, if you were called to business owners, whatever you were called to, you were simply called to that. But you have to make sure to have a mindset to walk in it. And so we got all these people declaring these New Year's resolutions. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it. And when they fail every year, because they do not hold themselves accountable, because they're walking in resolution and they're not causing a revolution. And there's a major difference. And so what I desire to do to you who are watching, and I do it to myself, and I even did it to my clients. Hello, Eric, how are you? Hello, Nella, how are you? And so I did it to my clients today. I do it to myself. I pray a prayer every day, for God to continue to show me. God, continue to search me out. I never want to be in my own way. So I challenge my clients. I charge my clients when I see them. Hello, Terrell, how are you? I challenge my clients when I see them. Be wise in your decision making. Create a strategic plan. So whether you go to church or not, on December 31st, to bring in the new year, however you bring it in, whatever you do. Hello, Beverly, how are you? Whatever you do to bring in the new year, you're not creating this facade, this New Year's resolution, but that throughout the year, you're already creating a revolution and that you're walking in it because you're taking ownership. If you made a mistake, you can say, I made the mistake. If you did not create a plan because you did not ask for wisdom, I did not ask for wisdom. I need wisdom. And I'm not praying and fasting on some things that I just need to work for. That's true ownership. That's true accountability. And so I can't keep claiming these resolutions every year when I really need to be walking in a revolution. I really need to be tearing up some things, because reality is, and you don't have to claim this, so I'll just talk about me. I'm behind on some things in my destiny. So I don't have time to be walking in a fairy tale land. About, 2020, my vision gonna be greater. No, my vision should have been greater in 2019. So if there are some things that were delayed in 2019, God, what did I not see? God, if I erred, show me where I erred. If I missed you, show me how I missed you. If there's an Achan in the camp, show me where my camp has some Achans in the camp. See, that's accountability. And when you do that, that displays that A, I don't mind changing. B, I don't mind taking ownership, because that shows liberation. I'm not prideful. I'm free. And that's when we walk in favor. See, there's grace and there's favor. Which do you desire? Which do you desire? There's some things that you can get in the realm of favor that you cannot get in the realm of grace. So, my challenge to you on December 31st, do not make another lion resolution, but make a revolution that I am going to charge myself to tear up some things. And I'm not doing it just for myself, but I'm doing it for my children and for my children's children. I told my daughters, what I do, first of all, I thank God that what I went to school for, I'm able to do in corporate America. I'm grateful to God for that, because many people can't do that. So I thank God every day, because some people go to jobs they hate. So I'm grateful to God for that. But I'm also building on the side. And as I'm doing that, I tell my daughters, I do it not just for myself, but that you can have your own if you choose to. You have the option. Because companies that we clock in for, that's what you're doing. You're clocking in on someone else's dream. You're clocking in on someone else's vision. And now everybody may not want to do their own, and that's okay. But if you know that's what you've been called to, don't make another resolution and not do it and say, I'm praying or I'm waiting on the Lord, because you have fear in your heart. But just say, I need some more strength. God, I need some more strength. God, I'm a little nervous here. Be honest with yourself. Be honest. Don't lie and say I'm praying. I'm a little scared here, God. I need a little more strength. God, place some people around me that can help hold me up in this season. Not just people I can go have cocktails with and kick it with, but that can hold me up. Place those people around me as well. All right? So 2019, claim all the, 2020 vision you want to. Walk, and waka. Do all that. But this is not just another year of New Year's resolution for you. It's a revolution. You about to tear up some stuff, all right? I love you. Have a great night.